Hi, I'm Brian, and today I'm going to be taking on the S is for Spring Vinyl Community Challenge, all set up by the musically obsessed Chris Prophy. Thanks so much for putting this one out there, Chris. It's been a lot of fun. And the first thought I had was to flip things over, seeing that I'm from Australia and making it A is for autumn, perhaps. But then I thought, no, stick with S is for spring. And what this gave me an opportunity to do is to showcase a few bands from the 1980s in Australia who sort of never made it big, but they've got some big sounds. And these bands, of course, all have names that begin with S. That's the handle for the challenge. And we're going to be able to hear a few cuts from these bands. So even if you've never heard of them before, you'll be able to hear them during this video and get a little snippet of how good they are. So what do they sound like? Have you heard them before? Let's get to it. The first band I want to look at and listen to today is Safehouse. And these guys were a Melbourne band, and this was an EP released in 1982. I love the guitar harmonics that start off on Underneath the Ice before it sort of goes into a full art rock type of song. Red's got some cool rhythms, but it's the third song, Things That You Say, that I really, really dig. It's got a really punchy bass, kind of a PH at fat bass that cuts through everything, and some great rhythms underpin it through the drums and also from the guitar. And then it has a bridge, which is kind of killer. And the second time through, it has some percussion going all the way through it, which kind of reminds me of Hunters and Collectors' first album. Now, if you haven't heard that album, I really recommend you give it a listen. But why don't we look at the Au Fait label, Safehouse Au Fait, and now have a listen to a bit of Things That You Say. Now, the second band that starts with S, you may be very familiar with, and it's Scattered Order, and this is their album Comfort. And it's a double album that came out in 1988, a double album of sorts, because on the first record, there is a compilation of essentials from before Comfort. Great gatefold too, isn't it? And the second album has the album Comfort itself, which is what I was really into. And the reason I was into that one in particular was because I wanted to get into the bass playing of Craig Robertson, who had been so amazing on Pell Mell's debut album Out of Reason. So the Discogs seller, I picked it up from Discogs, and he actually said to me, "There's only one disc, you know." And I went, "Yeah, that's it. That's all that I want." And now I'm starting to question that decision, because this was in my purge pile, and I pulled it out to have another play, and I went, "Oh my God, this is sensational." The opening song, Texas, reminds me a lot of an Australian band called The Machinations, and particularly in the voice. And we've got the song Chicken on the second side, which really brings the funk. The song Saturday, which closes the first side, is beautiful, and it has a poem which is recited over this lovely, gorgeous, and lush music. But it is, in fact, the song The King of Blip that I really dig. It's sort of part Pink Floyd, part Public Image Limited, and it's got such a cool guitar arpeggio that goes through it. And before it bridges off into something a little bit more creepy, a little bit more murky and mysterious, it sort of reminds me in the vibe of Roxy Music's Sentimental Fool. And the second time it comes in, it really just does build very ominously to it and builds that tension to a great climax. But really happy I've got this, and here's a bit from the King of Blip.
police intelligence, a 6 o'clock swirl of criminal diligence.
Okay, so the third album is from 1988 in Sydney, and it is a mini album, and it is Shrinking Violets and their mini album Mask. Really kind of cool cover, that one. And I believe there was a version of this that came out on the green vinyl, and it was released on the very important Phantom Records label, very important in Australia, releasing so many independent and alternative bands. Never Too Late starts us off, and it really gives us a flavour of the album. There's those. This band was influenced by U2, and you can hear that in the guitar lines full of delay in chorus. And Never Too Late's a really great song, but it may be just lacking a killer chorus. I love Small Talk. It starts with a piano and then gets into this really funky kind of riff. And I love it, particularly the bass playing on here by Barry Fuzz Hayes. It's a complete standout on this song, and it even gets a little solo from the Fuzz Master. Happy on the second side is really cool. Happy question mark. And that starts off with children's sound effects. And I love the bass line in the start, really squirmy and squirrely and twisted before the band really kicks in. These guys, also another point of reference, they've got dream pop. They definitely sort of got some shoegaze elements and some jingle jangle in there. But very influenced, I think, by early Cure, maybe even the Crystal Set. And Mask is the epic to finish. Once again, very dreamy. But the song that I really like on here is called Roman Hammer, which opens up the second side. Very much dreamy, shoegazy, lots of melody. Such a winner. So let's check it out.
Stuck in between these broken down days, I wish you could be me, lost in my days. I want you to be my Roman hammer, break down the walls that make me breathe. But you don't see, not at all, my love. But you don't see, not at all. But you don't see the colors in life which always bring me down. You never loved me.
The next album is not even a mini album, it's a single, and it's The Other Side of Midnight by Stig Can't Clap. And no, this was long before Top Gear and the Stig, although rumour has it that the members of Stig Can't Clap have never been seen in the same room as the Stig. So, who knows? Maybe the Stig is one of these guys. This is a killer little sort of slice of garage psych, as I said, from 1985. And another thing that's really interesting about it is that it was co-produced by Gary Beers, the bass player from INXS, and it really shows through in the mix, with the bass being very prominent, very funky, really cool in there as well. Now, back in 85, they did a launch party for this single at the Mossman Hotel, which was where I grew up in Sydney, and I'd seen lots of bands at the Mossman Hotel, but I missed the party for this one, and I've been regretting it ever since I heard this song. So we had that U2 sort of inspired sound again with the chorus and the delay, killer bass. The drums are in 16th notes, they're going really fast, and then it cuts down in the chorus to sort of like a halftime with some beautiful melody and some great backing vocals by Sandy Chick. This song is an absolute killer. I really recommend it to you. Let's have a listen to a bit of it. Stig Can't Clap, The Other Side of Midnight.
Challenge wants to relate free, and now the story's changed, so I'll leave. And now there is no questions, you
And I should have mentioned that Stig Can't Clap single came out on the Vinyl label, a label that I've never heard of before, but what a pun. Vinyl. So let's move away from the singles and we're going into EP territory for our final album or our final record, and that is the Stolen Picassos. This is a Perth band from 1988. What a great cover that is. Just so good. This is out on the Easter label. Really nice indeed. Yeah, cool cover, isn't it? They do things differently in Perth, and I think they do them really well. Now, it opens with a song called Everything Will Turn, which is one of the best psych songs you could hear from the 1980s. And it sort of takes us into the Byrds' fifth dimension territory. Reminds me a lot of 8 Miles High, but also has, it reminds me of another Byrds song, which I just can't put my finger on. It has brilliant vocals by Martin Gamby and Sandra Morgan, great guitars. There's that they've got the drone going and there's pseudo sitar leads. It's got everything you basically want in a song, and it's only about 3 minutes long. Wonderful song, Everything Will Turn. Now the next song is Save a Little Piece, which again reminds me of the Byrds, but now we're talking about the Notorious Bird Brothers territory, more country and Americana. And I think the flip side goes into a bit of the sort of Sweetheart of the Rodeo sort of territory. So they're trying to encompass everything by the Byrds in 4 songs. But it's Everything Will Turn is the killer song, and it is the song that leads off the EP. So let's get into it. So a huge shout out to Chris for putting together the S is for Spring Vinyl Community Challenge. It's been a total blast, Chris, and it's sort of inspired me to go back and look at some more obscure songs and albums from bands from my own country in the 1980s. And there were so many more I could have gone with. The Stems, Stupidity, Serious Young Insects. There's a plethora of bands, a smorgasbord if we want to keep with the S's. But it's been an absolute pleasure. And remember that if music of any style, shape, or substance, or even S's gives you pleasure, then who am I to argue with your opinion? If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like. That would be awesome. And I didn't mean to sound that desperate, but don't forget to smash that subscriber button because you know you want to. Fantastic. Anyway, until next time, I hope you're doing really well, staying cool, and bye now.